Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's City Council meeting. What a great crowd. Thank you so much for being here. We certainly appreciate it. Today is Tuesday, March 17th, and to start off our meeting, we want to introduce you to your City Council.
Council members Anderson.
Here.
Erickson.
Here.
Erpenbach.
Here.
Jamison.
Here.
Karski.
Here.
Kylie.
Here.
Rolfing.
Here.
Staggers.
Thank you very much. In the City of Sioux Falls, we start our City Council meetings with an invocation. And we're very, very blessed to have Minister David Kramer with All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church here tonight. What we'd ask you to do is to stand for that invocation and then remain standing for our Pledge of Allegiance. Minister David, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council members, Madam Clerk, everybody. On this auspicious day, what could I have for you besides tonight Irish blessings? First this, Irish society. An inhospitable Irishman simply cannot be. The very meaning of the words is contradictory. The Irish might have other faults, and I am sure they do, but service is their heritage. I know this to be true. We find this in their tribal kings, their rulers of the past. Around this ancient royalty, the tribal heart was cast. The king was treated like a god by druid caste or slave. The warriors and the chieftains, too, to king their service gave. But all demanded much of kings, for subjects' loyalty. Perfection was required of him to be his royalty. For if they had a virile king, a fertile crop they'd reap. But if the king were weak or cruel, the harvesters would weep. King Bresh himself was such a king. He hated art and letter. He was a most oppressive king, so things would get no better. He claimed the milk of hairless cows, then issued this decree: all Munster cows must pass through fire, which made them all hair-free. If the king were not hospitable to chieftains by his side, or didn't give them ale to drink, there'd soon be regicide. All leaders then should learn from this how others should be treated. Unless they learn it very well, they soon will be defeated. To rule, we know, is but to serve. To serve is but to rule. To learn this fundamental truth, we need not go to school. We learn it through experience, the very best of teachers. And unless we learn it well, it could be our impeacher. And on a more serious note, in the spirit of prayer, bless this house and those within. Bless our giving and receiving. Bless our words and conversation. Bless our hands and recreation. Bless our sowing and our growing. Bless our coming and our going. Bless all who enter and depart. Bless this house. Your peace impart. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Minister David, thank you so much for that. We appreciate it. The council will now move to our consent agenda. Any motions, changes?
Move to approve, Anderson.
Second, Karski.
Councilors, thank you so much. There's been a motion to approve our consent agenda. It has been seconded. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Anderson.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Thank you. That is passed 7-0. Now our regular agenda. Council, any changes to tonight's agenda?
Move to approve Erpenbach.
Second, Anderson.
There has been a motion to approve our agenda. It has been seconded. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Anderson.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
That is also passed 7-0. Thank you. We do have a great crowd tonight. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. This is an opportunity for you to actually engage the City Council on any topic that you want. If there is an agenda item later on that you want to speak to, we'd ask you to wait until then. But any other item, bring it forward. It's my understanding that there may actually be some Explorer elementary students who want to speak to our council and to our city. Is that true? Well, welcome. Just come on forward. And do we have a microphone? Oh, we want to, okay, we could use a microphone too. whatever you prefer. That looks great. All we'd ask, citizens of Sioux Falls, all we'd ask is that you just introduce yourself to the people of our town. Miss, you want to go first?
My name is Molly. My name is Sydney.
Molly and Sydney, I have to ask you this. Can you give us your last name, please?
Abdush Piri.
Thank you. Please proceed.
We have been studying about our local government. The local government takes care of our community. We appreciate the job that you do for our city. You listen to our complaints and try to fix them. You're responsible for making safe laws for our city, running the fire, police, parks and rec, CityLink TV, the zoo, animal control, and daycares are just some of the departments that you make decisions for. Mayor Huthard makes good decisions when there is a tie. If we didn't have city council, we wouldn't be talking about this at all today. Thank you for your hard work.
Thank you for trying to fix our tire swing on our playground. We have a lot of fun at recess and really miss it.
Thank you. And son, would you mind introducing yourself to the people of our town, please?
Hi, my name is Jake
Jake, your last name?
Denami,
Thank you, Jake.
and I'm a third grade student at Explorer Elementary in the Harrisburg School District. In our science curriculum, we learned about the life cycle of butterflies. We were very fortunate to have some milkweed in the back of our school in an empty lot, which is owned by the city. We were able to pick a milkweed that had an egg on it and watch it turn into a larva, caterpillar, chrysalis, and sprouted into a beautiful butterfly. After they were butterflies, we went outside and released the butterflies to enjoy their new life. Watching this process was one of my favorite activities in science this year. I think it would be great for the upcoming grades to experience the butterfly life cycle also. There's a group of trees behind the school where we would like to grow a butterfly garden. One request we have is if we could section off an area in the empty lot where the city would not spray for weeds so the butterflies could grow their eggs on the milkweed. The milkweed is important and essential for the butterflies to survive because this provides food, which is their only source, and a place to lay their eggs. When moving the eggs inside, we have to replace the milkweed every 3 to 4 days so that it is fresh. Having a butterfly garden and an additional section for milkweed to grow would help provide butterflies with their food and allow upcoming grades to experience and watch the life cycle of the butterfly like we were able to. Thank you.
Thank you, Jake. Welcome to the City Council. Your name, please? And your last name, please?
Acreage.
Welcome. Go right ahead, son. Oh, no, please, come forward. You just wanted to welcome? Yes. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you as well. Thank you. Thank you. Is there anyone else who wanted to engage the council on any topic? Welcome.
I'm Roger Elgersma. I've been watching in the news that there's been discussion on regulating food trucks downtown. I want to look at some basic principles of what good and bad regulation is and then apply it to this situation, because I've seen other times that companies come and want you to regulate their competitors. When I was a kid, I asked my dad what's the difference between capitalism and communism and which is best and why. Well, in the middle of the Cold War, my dad informed me that putting capitalism and communism in the same sentence was wrong, so I had to ask a different question. I asked, what makes capitalism so wonderful? Because I knew which was best. But anyway, he says capitalism is based on greed, and people do what makes themselves the most money, use their talents or that work best and work as hard as they want to. And so greed makes capitalism work. And I thought a little bit, and I says, if greed makes it work, and greed's a sin, how can our system work good if it's based on sin? And he didn't have a very good answer, so he just says, well, it's the best in the world, so that's what I'm for. But that's when I started realizing that we need some regulations. That doesn't mean everything should be regulated, but because of greed, I think proper regulations makes a level playing field and keeps things safe. These food trucks and restaurants both have the same health checks, and that's level playing field, and that's a proper regulation for public health. And regulations to reduce or limit pollution, certain things should be regulated. But to regulate somebody else's management method, when a few years ago I read there's 400 restaurants in town, and they don't all serve the same target market. They each have their niche, and they each know what their own abilities are and who they're serving. And so one should not say, you need the same management plan as we do. So when someone says, I want the other company to limit their hours or increase their hours, because that's what I do, that's not proper regulation. If they want the food trucks to shut down from midnight to 6, when other restaurants can be open from midnight to 6, that technically it's an unethical request, because it's not making a level playing field. It's saying, I'm scared of my competition, so dig him a hole so our heads are the same level. And so I think also another place to have a level playing field, and this might not be an easy answer to it, but everybody should pay the taxes in the same equal way. If a brick and mortar restaurant is paying taxes on real estate and the food truck is not, the food truck might be paying taxes for a garage, and it might be a garage in a residential rate or a commercial rate, but there might be some point where the food truck would have to pay a little more fee for a license just because they're using city parking spaces without really paying for it. That might take some investigation or, more time and thought, but I think there's a place for a level playing field on the tax rates, but definitely don't limit one's business hours because somebody else doesn't like it. I think the restaurant industry downtown really don't understand the value of the food truck. The level of business at noon meal for the restaurants is way higher because all the people working downtown. And so there's more demand at noon, and to build enough brick and mortar restaurants to fill that demand would mean that they all aren't going to do as well because they got enough costs for being there all day that it actually is more efficient for the food industry to have food trucks there a few hours at the peak, and that they don't have as much competition at breakfast in the evening. I think it's great to have a food truck during the night. If people walk out of a bar and they're not ready to go home and they buy some food and it dilutes the alcohol so it doesn't get in the bloodstream so fast, maybe it's a good thing that they're out there. The only way a food truck's going to do well is if they can find more in one little niche market. So I would say definitely do not limit their hours. They've got to fit their hours to their business plan, to their niche in the market. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. Appreciate that. Is there anyone else who wanted to engage the council? Well, thank you so much. In Scouts and other students, you're probably wondering why we didn't clap or cheer after some of the speakers. We're just not allowed to during the public testimony. Even if we want to sometimes, we're just not allowed to. We're supposed to try to stay as fair and balanced and professional as we possibly can. But don't, in our hearts, we probably really want to cheer really loud, okay? Thank you so much for being here. Let's move on now to item number 29.
Item 29 is transfer of a 2015 retail liquor license, including Sunday sales from Nutty's Incorporated, Booney's Bar and Barbecue, 805 Northwest Avenue, to Blue Cherry LLC, Ode to Food and Drinks, 300 North Sharapa Place, Suite 102, full-service restaurant, CUP not required. Item 30 is a new 2015 retail wine license for Body Sculpting Day Spa Incorporated, Body Sculpting Day Spa, to be operated at 5026 South Marion Road, CUP not required. Item 31 is a special one-day malt beverage and special one-day wine licenses for the Brennan Rock and Roll Academy, 900 West 11th Street, for a fundraiser concert on March 27, 2015. Item 32 is a special one-day malt beverage license for Avera McKinnon Hospital to be operated at the Avera McKinnon Fitness Center, 3400 South Southeastern Avenue, for a Joker Run on April 1, 2015. Item 33 is a special one-day malt beverage and special one-day wine licenses for the Sioux Falls Area Community Foundation to be operated at Raven Industries, 205 East 6th Street, for a fundraiser on May 7, 2015. Item 34 is a special one-day malt beverage and special one-day wine licenses for South Dakota Association of the Deaf to be operated at 3520 Gateway Lane for a SDAD conference and 115th birthday on June 19 and 20, 2015.
Jamie.
Good evening, Jamie Palmer with licensing. Item 29 is a transfer of a retail liquor license for a new restaurant at Sharapa Place. A security management plan was approved or submitted and approved by the police department, and the applicant is present if you have any questions specific to the business. Item 30 is a new license so that the applicant can offer complimentary wine to those getting services at her spa. And again, a security management plan was approved by the police department. Items 31 through 34 are all special one-day requests.
Jamie, thank you. Council, any motions?
For approval, Anderson.
Second,
Anderson.
Kylie.
On a motion to approve these items, seconded by Councilor Kiley. Roll call vote, please.
Council members Anderson, Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison. Karski.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Item 35.
Item 35 is a second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the name of the Code of Ordinances of said city by changing a street name, West Hanger Street, Hanger, to West Hanger Street, Hangar.
Good evening, Chad Heavey with the Engineering Division of Public Works. Hanger Street is on the airport campus. Tonight's item is to change the spelling from ER to AR. Hangar is a structure that's used to house airplanes. This change has been requested by the Sioux Falls Regional Airport. The Street Naming Committee has reviewed this request and is in support of its change.
Thank you, Chad. Is there anyone who wanted to speak to this item? Council?
Move to approve, Karski.
Second, Erpenbach.
On a motion to approve this item, it has been seconded. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Anderson, Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
That has passed 7-0. Item 36.
Item 36 is a second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the Code of Ordinances of said city by changing a street name, North John Orr Drive to North Knapp Brown Drive.
On the screen in front of you is, in green, is the existing North John Orr Drive. The proposed change is to change that bottom section of that drive to now be called Knapp Brown Drive. I believe both men were past airport directors, and they are continuing with that tradition of naming some of the streets after their past directors. This change, again, has been requested by the regional airport. The Street Naming Committee has reviewed this request and is in support.
Is there anyone in the audience who wanted to speak to this item? Council.
Move to approve, Erpenbach.
Second, Kylie.
Councilor Bach has made a motion to approve this item, seconded by Councilor Kiley. If no discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Council members Anderson, Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
That has passed 7-0. Item 37.
Item 37 is a second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the Code of Ordinances of the city by revising Chapter 111, alcoholic beverages.
Good evening, Jamie Palmer with licensing. Item 37 is a proposal to increase fees for special one-day malt beverage licenses to $25 and special one-day wine licenses to $25. The current fee is $5 per day for each of these licenses. The $25 proposal before you tonight is half of what most other municipalities are charging at this time. The number of special one-day requests have significantly increased over the last 5 years. For example, in 2009, 47 special one-day licenses were issued, and in 2014, a total of 107 were issued. At one time, it was primarily nonprofit organizations that were applying for these types of licenses. However, in the last couple of years, it's been current license holders. These fees have been unchanged since approximately 1985. And then just the last point I want to make, Councilor Jameson asked a question at first reading, and I did go back and confirm in my research that the other cities do handle special one-day requests the same way that we do. If it's if the event is held in a publicly owned facility or a facility that's owned by a nonprofit, it can be approved on the consent agenda. Otherwise, all of the requests have to have a notice of hearing and a hearing. And that's per state law.
Jamie, thank you. Another second reading, folks. Anybody want to speak to this item? Council?
Move for approval, Anderson.
Second, Rolfing.
It's been a motion to approve this item and has been seconded. If no discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Anderson, Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jameson. Karski.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Item 38.
Item 38 is a second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, approving the naming of a facility space on public property, Club Cambria.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council, and public at home. This is a second reading for a naming application for Club Cambria located on the second level of the main concourse of our new Denny Sanford Premier Center located at 1201 Northwest Avenue. Applicants are SMG, Terry Torkelson and Rick Hoffman, and Justin Pins, who's with Creative Surfaces, Inc., presented an application to name the Club Cambria area, and they've commented from that the Cambria is from the Twin Cities area, and they are a signature partner in our event center. Remodeling of the Club Cambria space, which can seat up to 500 persons, will include but not be limited to quartzite elements for countertops, tables, flooring, and wall cladding and furniture. Cambria would be responsible for all costs associated with the build-out of the physical space. Completion of the remodeling project is anticipated to be in the spring of 2015, if approved. And other Cambria branding would include digital signage, scoreboard, and TV monitors as well. The City Naming Committee reviewed this application and unanimously recommended approval of the naming for the Club Cambria at the Event Center.
Russ, thank you. Is there anyone who wanted to speak to this item? Very good, Council. Yes, Councilor Erickson.
Just a quick question. We have heard many announcements with the Event Center, and it's extremely kind of a happen place right now. Tell me how long this construction will take place. Is it going to be under construction as events are going on, or is the goal to get it done in a 2-day deal in between
I'll ask that Terry Torkelson, who's here this evening, to present that, but we're looking at an expeditious construction project on this.
Welcome, Terry.
Thank you. I apologize for my appearance. We have a concert today, so.
You're forgiven.
Yeah, it would be, the timeline would hopefully be April. These people are very good at what they do, so it would be an expedited process. It may be something that's staged where we do one thing, we do the cladding for 1 week and then proceed to flooring and wall coverings and things like that. So it wouldn't be something that's a construction site for a long period of time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor.
Move approval, Rolfing.
Second, Karski.
Been a motion to approve this item has been seconded. If no further discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Anderson.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
That has passed 7-0. Item 39.
Item 39 is to set a date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, March 24th at 5:00 p.m. at the Joint City Council Minnehaha County meeting. First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 1310 North Ellis Road from the A1 Agricultural District to the I-1 Light Industrial District, petition number 1503, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
Good evening, Diane DeCoyer with the Planning Office. This is a rezone from A1 Agriculture to I-1 Light Industrial for a commercial warehouse. This rezone is in our joint jurisdiction with Minnehaha County. The applicant is Kairos Construction Incorporated. It's located at 1310 North Ellis Road, which is approximately 1.5 miles west of Sioux Falls. The size is 1.01 acres. The purpose, again, is to construct a commercial warehouse on the property for his construction business. I can answer any questions you might have.
Thank you very much. Yes, Councilor Jameson.
Thank you. Diane, on the map that I'm looking at on the screen, it shows that diagonal line east to west, I guess it is. Is that an old highway or something? Why are the...
It's a vacated railroad line.
Oh, railroad. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Councilor?
Curious why we're doing this sole, not doing it in conjunction with Minnehaha County.
You will for the second reading. This is just the first reading.
First reading, thank you.
Yep.
I knew there was something.
Move to set the second reading for Tuesday, March 24th at 5 o'clock at the joint City Council Minnehaha County meeting.
Second.
Erpenbach.
Thank you very much. Councilors, appreciate that. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Anderson.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
That has passed 7-0. Item 40.
Item 40 is to set a date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, April 7th, 2015 at 7 o'clock p.m. First reading. An ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at the southwest corner of West 26th Street and South Katy Avenue from the RS Single Family Residential Suburban District to the RA1 Apartment Residential Low Density District. Petition number 2223, 2015, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval.
Diane DeCoyer with Planning again. The applicant for this is Clint Ackerman. It's located at the southwest corner of West 26th Street and South Katy Avenue. The size of the parcel is 4.96 acres, and the purpose is to construct low-density apartment buildings.
Diane, thank you. Councilors?
Move to set the date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, April 7th, 2015.
Second, Karski.
Thank you. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Anderson.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
That has passed 7-0. Item 41.
Item 41 is to set a date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, April 7th, 2015 at 7 o'clock p.m. for first reading. An ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 1116 South 4th Avenue from the RT1 Single Family Residential Traditional District to the S1 General Institutional District, petition number 2243, 2015, and amending the official zone of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
Diane DeCoyer with Planning again. The applicant is Robert Bohm with Dakota Abilities. This is located at the southeast corner of East 19th Street and South 4th Avenue, which is currently a Longfellow Elementary School. The school district is vacating this site in June of 2015, and Dakota Abilities will take it over at that point. The size is 3.67 acres. The purpose, again, to change from an elementary school to the Dakota Abilities office and work center. This will allow them to consolidate all onto one site.
Thank you, Diane. Council?
Move to set the date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, April 7th, 2015.
Is there a second?
Rolfing.
Thank you, Councilor Rolfing. Appreciate that. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Anderson.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Thank you. That has passed 7-0. Scouts, just wanted to quickly let you know that what you're seeing is that the council, they're reviewing an item one time, and there's not an opportunity for the public to speak at the first reading, but then what they're doing is they're setting a second reading so they can keep studying the issue as well as allow the public an opportunity to come that second time and speak either for or against it. Item number 42.
Item 42 is to set a date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, April 7th, 2015 at 7 o'clock p.m. First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 633 West 10th Street from the RT2 Townhouse Residential Traditional District to the RA1 Apartment Residential Low Density District, petition number 2286, 2015, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval.
Diane DeCoyer with Planning. The applicant for this is Wayne Wagner from Affordable Housing Solutions. The site is located at the southeast corner of West 10th Street and Summit Avenue. It has been vacant there for quite a while. The lot size is 0.28 acres. The purpose, again, is to construct an 8-unit affordable housing multifamily residential building. The applicant is still working through some parking requirements. They'll have to probably find some off-site parking and get a conditional use permit for approval at a later date.
Thank you, Diane. Council, questions, motions?
Move to set the date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, April 7th, 2015.
Second, Karski.
Councilors, thank you for that. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Anderson, Erickson,
Yes.
Erpenbach,
Yes.
Jamison,
Yes.
Karski,
Yes.
Kylie,
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Item 43.
Item 43 is to set a date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, April 7th, 2015 at 7 o'clock p.m. First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota rezoning property at 3204 Southwest Avenue from the RD1 Twin Home Duplex Residential Suburban District to the RT1 Single Family Residential Traditional District, petition number 2287-2015, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
Diane DeCoyer with Planning. The owner and applicant is Tony Brown with Dakota Land Sod Farm. The property is located at 3204 Southwest Avenue, which is north of 41st Street. The size is 0.13 acres, and the purpose is to construct a home and garage.
Diane, thank you. Councilors? Councilor Jameson.
Diane, if I could, I was listening to Tamara read the first reading. It's zoned for a duplex or a twin home,
Yes.
and is there a twin home there now, or what's there now?
There is a single-family home, from what I understand, and they will be taking that down to build.
Okay.
And the single-family traditional setbacks are a little more lenient, and that's kind of consistent with what you see in that area. So it's appropriate zoning.
I see. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Councilor, thank you.
Move
Yes.
to set a date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, April 7th, 2015.
Second, Erpenbach.
Councilor Kylie, Councilor Mbach, thank you for that. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Anderson,
Yes.
Erickson, Erpenbach,
Yes.
Jamison, Karski,
Yes.
Kylie,
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Thank you. That is passed 7-0. Item 44.
Item 44 is to set a date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, April 7th, 2015 at 7 o'clock p.m. First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota rezoning property north of East 41st Street and west of South 6 Mile Road from the AG Agricultural District to the RS Single Family Residential, Suburban RD2 Townhome Residential, Suburban RA2 Apartment Residential Moderate Density, and C2 Commercial Neighborhood and Streetcar Districts, petition number 2292-2015, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
Diane DeCoyer with Planning. The applicant here is Charles Point with Ronning Enterprises. The site is located at the northwest section of East 41st Street and 6 Mile Road. This is approximately 121 acres. The purpose is to develop the property for single, multifamily, and commercial. Commercial would be adjacent to 41st and 6 Mile Road as indicated on the plan in front of you.
Council, yes, Councilor Anderson Jr.
Diane, have we had any communication with any neighbors that are out in that area?
No, we haven't heard from anybody on this.
Move to set the second reading for Tuesday, April 7th, 2015.
Second, Erpenbach.
There's been a motion to set that date of hearing and second reading. Councilor Jameson.
Diane, you said the applicant was
Charles Point.
Charles, you mean Chuck?
Chuck
I
Point.
don't know him as Charles, I'll know him as Chuck.
I think the application said Charles, so I'm just following. Yeah.
What his mom and dad wanted. Councilor.
Yeah. If they would be proud.
I just thought he'd appreciate a little jab.
Thank you, Councilor. Very good. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Anderson,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Erpenbach,
Yes.
Jamison, Karski,
Yes.
Kylie,
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Thank you. Item 45.
Item 45 is to set a date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, April 7th, 2015 at 7 o'clock p.m. First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota rezoning property at the southwest corner of East 41st Street and South Sycamore Avenue from the C2 Commercial Neighborhood and Streetcar District to the C3 Commercial Community District, including conditions as allowed in Section 160.650E placing limitations on regulations within the RE4 form, petition number 2298, 2015, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval subject to the building of no more than 30,000 square feet of gross floor area.
Diane DeCoyer with Planning. The applicant here is Jeff Johnson with Fairway Stores. Again, it's located at the southwest corner of East 41st Street and South Sycamore Avenue. The parcel is 3.13 acres. The purpose is to construct a retail building, and we are putting a conditional rezone on this for a maximum square footage of 30,000 square feet. They are adjacent to some residential, and it does require a level C buffer yard adjacent to those properties. The applicant held a neighborhood meeting, and many of the neighbors showed up at the Planning Commission meeting. One of their concerns was drainage of the site, and of course the applicant's engineer will work through those issues as well as review those with our city engineer for approval prior to getting a building permit.
Diane, thank you. Councilor Erickson.
Can you flip back one, please? No. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Councilor Bach. My apologies.
This is kind of a newbie question, but I think we need to talk about it just a little bit. That idea that because they're that close to residential, are we going to allow them to build the store that close to the edge of the lot? Can we control where they put that?
We can control it by the setbacks, the buffer yards, and what those requirements are. I think the neighbors were largely in favor of the store going in this location as long as they work through some of the issues with parking, lighting for the parking, and then some of the drainage. There were several that showed up for it.
Okay. Well, that's when you said, that, oh, yeah, I get the lighting thing now that Councilor Rolfing is saying that to me, too. That makes sense. But when you said so many neighbors were there, I was just concerned that maybe they were worried about it. But
I think Fairway did a good job of trying to answer all their questions, even prior to Planning Commission.
Good. Great. Thank you.
Councilor Kiley.
I can answer some of those questions myself, too, because this is just 3 blocks from my home, so I've had quite a bit of contact with other individuals, and for most, in most cases, with a few exceptions, it's been nothing but positive, and they have indicated that the Fairway Foods has been very good with communicating with them and working with them. And in this case, the rezone, because it is currently C2, and we're going, its proposal is to rezone to C3. With a limitation of nothing greater than 30,000 square feet. So that's only 5,000 square feet greater than what it's currently zoned. But the positive side for the neighbors is that increases the buffer area and the landscaping requirements and some of the other requirements. So it's actually working in their favor. Right. And the concerns that have been communicated to me mostly are with the drainage issues. And the one question I would have, because I know there's been some discussion of possibly the draining into a sump pump collection system or that type of a drainage system, and there's currently something there now. Are they going to expand on that to enable this larger development, to accommodate this larger development?
If you look on the lower left-hand corner of that green area just below the building, that would be their detention pond that is required. So any of the drainage coming from that site would be detained in that area rather than having that flow onto other property. Now, there will still continue to be some drainage to the south and maybe some to the west, but no more than currently exists from the site.
And from the information that I've had received, that it's not yet determined if that's going to be necessary or not. Are you saying for sure it has been at this point?
I don't know that for sure. The engineers will have to determine that.
And then some of the other, for instance, there's a business, a dance studio to the south of this particular area, and there is a sump pump collection system. And under heavy rains, that it's with others pumping into it, it's actually backed up a time or two. So, question is, if we're going to add, if the business is going to add to that, is that just going to complicate the problem? And so, I would like you to really look into that as well, too.
Yep, definitely. I'll check with Andy Berg on it.
Thank you.
Councilor, very good. Councilor Karski.
Looking at my cheat sheet here, and Today we're talking about rezoning it so it can be a grocery store, but someday they may not want to have a grocery store there, and changing it from a C2 to a C3, I mean, really opens the door to a lot of other uses for this building, correct?
It possibly could, but they would still have that conditional rezone of 30,000 square feet.
But it does open the door to different uses.
It does,
of
yeah,
the
for
building.
different uses, correct.
Not require a conditional use permit, correct?
It may not. We'd have to evaluate that once somebody comes forward if they're going to do a change in use there.
Okay, I'd just encourage the council over the next couple of weeks to take a look at that one, because we could be opening the door here to something we may not intend to, so thank you.
Councilor Jameson.
Thank you, Diane. The entryway, I know we're just doing the zoning change now, but the map, the image here shows an entryway onto 41st Street.
Correct.
Are there road improvements or any changes to the road that's going to occur?
I don't believe there is anything to the road. I mean, the curb cuts have been approved through Shannon Austin, so those will be allowed, both the one to the east and to the north. And they'll have to maintain that mutual access easement for the studio that's down to the south.
The only thought I had there, and maybe Rick knows some of these, I'm not sure what that street is to the west.
Bedford.
Bedford? Well, the idea is that instead of having another entryway so close to that Bedford Road.
I'm sorry, are you talking about Bedford or Sycamore?
If it's Bedford, the one, whatever, yeah, that one there.
Okay.
So I suppose the neighbors don't want them driving down that street and into their parking lot. I get that, but you are creating another entryway just a short distance from another road, which could create a traffic issue. Is just something I saw. Even though I know we're just talking about zoning today, I just see that as a potential problem.
I can address that to a small degree too. I know that there was already a previous agreement between the developer and the twin homes to the west that there would not be any curb cuts in that property. So that's one of the reasons why the dance studio actually exits. They move to exit. They have to exit out to the north there.
Correct.
And with the addition of another curb cut on the north side of the 41st Street, that would actually allow some of the traffic to move out on the 41st Street and then make a left-hand turn at a controlled intersection versus making a left-hand turn out of the current and only curb cut on Sycamore Avenue. And my understanding is that the traffic study will be conducted and that deceleration lanes will be looked at as well, too.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's exactly what that is a very growing intersection there. And you already to the north, you have the convenience store that has a slow down lane in it also. So I agree with you there. Sorry, that was what I was going to bring up also. And there's no turning lanes on 41st Street or on Sycamore. There's not a center turning lane there. It's just the 4 lanes. So those would be very productive to have in there to keep traffic flowing in that intersection.
Chad, before you go to... Yes.
If I may, they are in the process of doing a traffic impact study like we would with any commercial property like this. And so what will come out of that is traffic numbers, and just like what we've done in the past, decel lanes, access points. We have some improvements, that we should be, that are programmed at this intersection anyway. And so, but we'll know, just like usually, they'll give us what the improvements need to be at the store opening, and then we'll work with them to get those incorporated.
Councilor Jameson.
Thank you. My concern is that you have somebody taking a left turn out of that north driveway and then somebody making a right turn out of Benford. There's just too much action going on there, but as I see it, but I'll leave it to the experts. I'm no engineer. One other final question, Diane, was the applicant, Fairway, is that a 24-hour store or is it a...
No, they're not a 24. I don't know what their hours are, but I know they're not a 24-hour store.
Very good. Thank you.
There again, it's been communicated to me that they're closed on Sunday, and I believe it's a 10 o'clock closing time in the evening. And they will haul your groceries out to your car, too.
Great. Council, would anybody want to set a date of hearing, second reading for Tuesday, April 7th for this item?
So moved, Rolfing.
Councilor Rolfing did that, seconded by Councilor Anderson Jr. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Anderson?
Yes.
Erickson? Yes. Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Kylie?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Item 46.
Item 46 is a resolution vacating the public right-of-way on North National Avenue from the south right-of-way line of East Benson Road to the north right-of-way line of East 39th Street North, and on East Hogan Avenue from the east right-of-way line of North National Avenue to the west right-of-way line of North Casco Avenue.
Good evening, Chad Heavey with the Engineering Division of Public Works. This right-of-way is south of Benson Road, east of Cliff Avenue, and is not improved. If vacated, a utility easement will be maintained. The petitioner has complied with our street vacation policy and is present tonight to answer any questions. A neighborhood meeting was held on February 25th, and there was no attendees at that meeting. And engineering does support the vacation.
Thanks, Chad. Did anybody want to speak to this item? Council?
Move for approval, Anderson.
Second, Kylie.
Thank you, councilors. Appreciate that. Councilor Jamison.
Sorry, but Chad, I think when you brought this up first time, or did you cover this before?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I was thinking there were some connectivity issues that you were concerned about. Obviously, you've worked through those, or did I?
Well, I just wanted to show this to say that, you know, the items in pink on your map is actually right-of-way that has been vacated previously. And when you look at this area here, you have Lewis Avenue, which would provide good north-south connection. North Casco Avenue is also constructed, so at this point, you know, National south of 39th is vacated, so I don't feel that there's an issue with connectivity out here. Based on what's been done, and now we have these, you know, Casco is improved and so is Lewis. I think we have good north-south connection points between 39th Street and Benson Road.
Thank you.
Councilor, thank you. A roll call vote, please. No, do we? Yeah, we have a motion. Yes.
Good motion. Council members Anderson?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Kylie?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Item 47.
Item 47 is a resolution vacating the public right-of-way on South Euclid Avenue from the south right-of-way line of West 22nd Street to the north right-of-way line of West 25th Street.
This right-of-way is south of the Sanford campus, a block west of Grange Avenue, and is improved. If vacated, a utility easement will be maintained. The petitioner has complied with our street vacation policy and is present tonight to answer any questions. A neighborhood meeting was held and attended by 3 people, and there was no objections to the vacation. If vacated, the plan is to use this property in the development of Sanford Imaginetics.
You got it.
Huh?
You got it.
Well, it's had me thinking all day long, but and I could, well, I have something off the internet site. If you are curious what that is, maybe you know. I don't know anything about it, so. But engineering does recommend approval.
Chad, thank you. Did anybody want to speak to this item in the audience? Council?
Move for approval, Anderson.
Second, Karski.
Been a motion to approve this item. It has been seconded as well. Thank you. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Anderson? Erickson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison? Karski?
Yes.
Kylie?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Thank you. Item 48.
Item 48 is a resolution of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, approving the placement of sculptures on public property for an internationally recognized visual arts program known as Sculpture Walk Sioux Falls 2015.
Good evening. Russ Sorensen with the City Planning Office again, and with me this evening is Jim Clark, Executive Director of the Sculpture Walk program. Sioux Falls Sculpture Walk program is celebrating its 12th year and has grown from 34 sculptures in 2004 to 55 sculptures through 2013 to 2015. In the 11 and a half years of the Sculpture Walk program's history, we've had 555 sculptures that have been displayed in our downtown area. For the 2015 Sculpture Walk program, we had 193 entries that were received and juried by the Sculpture Walk Committee. And the 2015 Sculpture Walk program is, again, an international and countrywide program whereby one country, Canada, and 20 states are represented. 8 sculpture artists are from South Dakota, and there will be 18 new artists in this year's program. The takedowns for the sculptures will be planned for April of 2015, and the new installations are planned for May 2nd of this year. There are 55 sculptures that were presented about a week ago to you at your informational briefing, and 11 alternates were selected and recommended as well as part of the program. I'd just like to indicate that the program is significant and that it helps create a first impression of our downtown for visitors by bringing in a large number of sculptures to a central business district area for outdoor display year-round. It simply enhances the beauty and the culture of our downtown area for all citizens and visitors to enjoy. And I'd remind you that through May through September, the public votes for their People's Choice sculpture, and that sculpture is then purchased by the City of Sioux Falls for up to $15,000. And we figure that more than 300,000 people visit Sculpture Walk in our downtown area each year. Several city departments, including the Human Services, the ADA Accessibility Review Board, Public Works, Engineering, Risk Management, Planning, along with the Visual Arts Commission, have all conducted their respective reviews and are supportive of this year's 2015 program for Sculpture Walk. If you have any questions directly, we can invite Jim to the podium as well if you'd like. But that concludes our report.
Russ, thank you very much. And Jim, thank you as well. Is there anyone in the audience who wanted to speak to this item? Council.
Move for approval, Anderson.
Second, Karski.
Thank you very much. It has been a motion to approve this wonderful deal. And has been seconded. Council, any comments? Very, very good. Yes, Councilor Kylie.
I would just again like to say thank you to Jim Clark and to everybody else that's been involved in this, because this is just a wonderful program for not only the artists but the entire city of Sioux Falls. It's just very aesthetically pleasing. There's just nothing but good things to say about it. So thank you very much.
Your roll call vote, please.
Council members Anderson?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Karski? Yes. Kylie?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Thank you. Item 49.
Item 49 is a resolution approving the Comprehensive Parks and Recreation System Master Plan.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Kelby Maris with Parks and Recreation. This resolution before you will adopt our completed Parks and Recreation System Master Plan. This plan will help guide Parks and Recreation efforts for the next 10 years. Last month, we were here and presented to you the recommendations that came out of the plan. We are here tonight for final adoption. The Park Board did approve the plan at today's 4 o'clock Park Board meeting. Pat O'Toole with Greenplay, who is the consultant that we hired to help us through this process, is here. We have a short presentation for you, and we'd be happy to answer any questions following the presentation.
Thank you, and good evening, Mayor and Council. Appreciate the opportunity to present a very quick summary of the overall plan. As soon as I can figure out how to run this. There we go. Again, tonight this is just a listing of what we're going to go through. A lot of cases, just a slide or two. But in the process, this is our last step, asking for the adoption of the plan. And again, we presented this afternoon at the Parks Board meeting. This is just a list of the items that we went through as far as the steps in the process. Just want to talk about kind of a summary slide here on the demographics and the population growth from 2010 to 2019, noting that there's a decrease in the years between 20 and 35 and an increase between 56 and 74 over the next 10 years. and our plan does take that into consideration. This is an overall map of the level of service, looking at a half-mile buffer around all the parks and amenities, also the trails. So it does take into consideration the what you currently have as a standard of a half-mile for every rooftop for your parks. So current level of service, anything that was funded and planned is in this plan, as well as looking towards the plan 2035. And those are the dots that you see that are center points for those half miles. Recurring themes that we heard through the whole process, in order of what we consistently heard, people would like to see the trails expanded and some connectivity, some additional recreational water access, marketing, particularly going outside of the city and bringing in some of those neighboring communities that do work and participate within the city. Adding a special event venue, parking particularly during larger events, and year-round recreation opportunities, particularly adding things in the winter. As far as the recommendations, again, we presented these in draft format last month. They were put together looking at the entire process, the different tools we used. The community input was a big portion of that, looking at the inventory and that level of service and a gaps analysis, coming up with our key issues matrix, and then presenting those as the findings and getting input, and then recommendations we put together as goals. So we have 4 large goals, objectives, action plans, and put them in priority based on those 4 goals and any budget impacts as far as capital as well as operational. The primary focus of the recommendations was on maintaining, sustaining, and improving what you already have. We heard that loud and clear as the #1 thing people would like to see. We also put those in a short-term, mid-term, and long-term, and some of those are ongoing, so it has it in all 3 of those categories. The 4 goals: continue and improve organizational efficiencies, increase financial opportunities, continue to improve programs and service delivery, and improve facilities and amenities. The key issues of the summary for the organizational: maintain existing quality of level of service. That's that half-mile radius we talked about. Need better promotion and communication of activities, improve signage agency-wide, maintain existing facilities and amenities before adding more, increase social media use and navigation apps for parks and trails, and increase partnerships. The finance key issue summary: increase event and activity sponsorships, consider developer impact fee ordinance, pursue grant and philanthropic opportunities, and consider cost recovery and pricing philosophy, including scholarships. And from the programs and service delivery: increase recreational activities on the Big Sioux River, need more year-round recreational activities, programs at convenient times, mostly for those working folks, and expand programming for seniors, special needs, teens, and tweens. And facilities: what we heard loud and clear, again, as the #1 thing was to maintain and improve your existing facilities, expand trails and connectivity, improve water access to the Big Sioux River and Skunk Creek, add community centers with new elementary schools, develop new amenities at new and existing parks with level of service gaps identified, add special event venue, improve parking, increase ADA accessibility at all facilities, upgrade convenience and customer service items to existing facilities, and add destination park amenities. Some of the summaries on the inventory: park maintenance is excellent, upkeep and amenities with replacement programs is ongoing. Those things are in place. Sports complexes are in excellent condition, high quality turf. Shade was one thing that people brought up that they'd like to see. A good variety of community and regional parks throughout the area, and the existing dog park is heavily used and exhibits a little wear. Level of service findings: wide variety and well-distributed parks. We did hear, the only thing we really did hear was tennis courts were needed in the northwest and southwest quadrants of the city. Overall level service is high for trails and parks combined. That was that map that we showed you. Areas with lower level service tend to be industrial, farmland, or relatively low population at this point in time. And river access is limited with minimal amenities at access points. And with that, I would just summarize that what this says and this process said to us is that you have a very nice and well-maintained and thought-out park system. We didn't hear an awful lot of negatives. People were very positive of the maintenance and the location and the things that you had. So I commend you guys and the Parks Board and the staff for implementing that. And in a nutshell, the plan says keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you very
I'll
much.
answer any questions you have.
Thank you very much. Before we go to those, is there anyone in the audience who want to speak to this item? Councilors, any comments, questions? Yes, Councilor Jameson.
Pat, the aquatics facility master plan, did you see that?
Yes.
I just didn't see any reference to it. Obviously, it's a part of this.
It's included in the inventory. And we did hear a little bit of on the front end from the public input that we need new indoor aquatics, and that's exactly what they were talking about. So it wasn't that we need another one. It was we need it and it's coming, but it's not here yet. So yes, anything that was funded and planned is in the inventory.
Thank you.
Council, does anyone want to make a motion?
Move for approval, Anderson.
Second, Erpenbach.
It's been a motion to approve this item. It has been seconded. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Anderson, Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison, Karski.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Item 50.
Item 50 is a resolution advising and giving consent to the appointment of members to certain citizen boards, those members being for Board of Ethics, Wanda Harris, John Jack Marsh; for the Charter Revision Commission, Susan Aguilar, Jill Enteman, Pauline Polides, Justin Smith, and Robert Timian; for Disability Awareness Commission, Tana Zwart; Housing and Redevelopment Commission, James Beto; Mechanical Board of Appeals and Examiners, Roger Nicholas; Public Transit Advisory Board, Megan Myers, Brett Glerbus, Jerry Reed; for Solid Waste Planning Board, Ross McMiller; for Visual Arts Commission, Steve Brumman, Larry Ling, and Sandra Pay.
Council, any?
Move to approve, Erpenbach.
Second, Kylie.
Thank you. It's been a motion, has been seconded to approve these good stewards to be part of the city team. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Anderson.
Yes.
Erickson. Yes. Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Kylie.
Yes.
Rolfing.
That is passed 7-0. Thank you. Council, any other motions? Or
Move to adjourn, Erpenbach.
Second,
been a
Anderson.
motion to adjourn. It has been seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This meeting is adjourned. Scouts, I want to welcome you. Thanks for being here. What troop are you from? 371. What was that? 371. 371. And what part of town is that? By Gloria Day. Very good. Well, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Hope you learned something. Make it a great, great night, Sioux Falls.